Does talking about your offer make you cringe, even though you know you genuinely can help people? Now, it's not because you're bad at sales or the sales is actually icky, it's because you've been exposed to a model of selling, and we all have to be honest, we've been exposed to a version of sales that feels exploitative and manipulative. So, like, of course it feels icky, right? But in this video today, I'm going to share with you a different model, which is going to be really valuable for your nervous system and allow you to make the money in your business that you need to make and have the impact on the people that you want to have. Okay, so stick with me. So, it's not that you're bad at sales, right? But right now, you feel really cringy when you talk about your offers. You keep second guessing your pricing. You worry about being too much or too pushy, and most of the time you avoid talking about your offer altogether. Like you're letting your clients or your customers do the guessing work, right? And they're like, how do I work with you? Like it all feels a bit weird and you just want a friction-free pathway, right? So it's not that you're bad at sales, it's just you've been exposed to a distorted model of sales, okay? Like I said in the opening, it's manipulative, it's exploitative, it's all the things, right? So it feels like manipulation disguised as strategy, right? It's like it feels strategic, but you just know on some level there's manipulation going on, okay? When I was first taught how to do sales calls, I was taught once to just look someone straight in the eye and say, is there any reason you wouldn't want to buy this? And oh, it made me feel sick, right? Because it's just full on manipulation. It's like pressuring the person on the call to like just sign up and work with me. And I don't want people signing up to work with me under those conditions, right? So we can get rid of the manipulation. And then it feels like urgency that creates anxiety, not clarity, okay? Urgency that says like if you don't do it now, then it's gone forever, when it's not actually true. There's two types of urgency. There's urgency that creates this anxiety and gets you to buy the thing, and that's what leads to buyer's remorse. And then there's ethical urgency that just gives you clarity. So if you're running a group program and you genuinely only have 5 spots, or it genuinely closes on Friday, right? That's just giving your customers information. That's ethical urgency and allows your clients or customers to make a decision. But this urgency that creates anxiety and just pushes someone into the sale, that we don't want to be doing that, right? And then there's overcoming objections instead of understanding people. Have you ever had someone say to you like, if you don't do this, then it means you're never going to do it? Or what's the other one? The one about money mindset, right? Is you don't have the right money mindset and you need to overcome that kind of thing. It's just icky. Like what we want to do is actually try and understand people. If someone's saying no, we want to understand that rather than trying to force them into it. That's when it gets icky and manipulative and horrible. And then the last one is treating humans like they're just a conversion. Like we forget there's a human on the other side of it. We just think about our funnels, we call it lead magnets, all this icky stuff. Like we need to remember there's a human on the other side of it. And then it ceases to feel icky, which I'm going to get into. So here's what happens if you don't unlearn that model and start learning to sell your offers. You hold back from talking about your work, right? You never talk about your work and therefore you don't sell anything, right? And or it just makes it really hard to sell. And then you could be underselling and undercharging. So underselling, your business is going to go under and you miss the opportunity to actually help anyone. And when you start undercharging for your offers, what tends to happen is, again, your business is going to struggle, you're going to be under-resourced, you're going to get really resentful towards your clients that you are working with because you know they're not paying you, and it's not their fault because you're not charging them enough money, but because they're not paying you enough money, you start to feel kind of resentful. Then you could attract misaligned clients. And again, this isn't your client's problem, it's because you're not building clarity into your offers and then communicating that, you're just kind of bringing anyone into your world, and then because they're not sure if they're a good fit and you're not sure if they're a good fit because the communication hasn't happened, you end up with clients that you shouldn't really be working with because they're not a good fit for your offer. And then you feel stuck despite being good at what you do. Okay, being good at what you do is just one element of your business. We need to get good at marketing, we need to get good at operations, We need to get good at creating the vision for our business, and then that allows us to confidently sell our products and our services and our offers. So let me show you a completely different way to think about selling. Principle 1, selling is a clarification, not convincing. Okay, we don't have to manipulate people into buying from us. We just need to give people the information of what it is we're selling, so they can make a decision for themselves. But they can't do that if they don't have the information. Now, is there such a thing as sales psychology that we can use? Absolutely, okay? Do people use this to manipulate? Yes, every single day, but we don't have to use it to manipulate. We can use sales psychology to connect with our ideal clients and audience on an emotional level, on a heart level, so that they feel seen and understood. And then they know that offer is for them and they connect with it on a certain level. So yes, we can use sales psychology, but not in a manipulative, convincing way. And selling just becomes this clarification. Is it for me? Is it not for me? Can I make the decision? Only if I have clarification and all the information to make that decision. Okay, principle 2 is it's an exchange of embodied expertise. Now, I had a friend a few years ago who wanted to start a wedding photography business, right? And as far as he was concerned, he felt guilty about charging money because he had this attitude of like, well, it's just really easy for me to do. Like, I feel bad charging for something that's so easy to do. But what he didn't realise is that it was easy for him specifically to do. So he had all this equipment that he had built up over the years, that only with that equipment could he take the kind of photos that he took. You know, just a random person off the street, or there's someone who's getting married doesn't have that equipment. So, or if they were to get that equipment, it would cost them a lot of money, right? More money than he was charging as a wedding photographer. So that was one thing, right? And then the other thing was that the skill he had in taking certain photographs, that had been built up over years and years of testing and trying and just building up those skills that not everyone has. So it wasn't just that people were paying for his time to turn up and take a few photos. They were paying for the equipment that he had, the skill set that he had, his unique way of taking photographs that someone couldn't have got from anyone else. That's what he was selling. It was embodied expertise. And there's a version of that you're selling as well, that you're not fully appreciating, because to you, it just feels normal. Okay, so I want you to have a think about that. Principle 3 is integrity converts. So what I'm talking about here is integrity is you communicate, and this kind of ties into principle 1 a little bit, but we're communicating who it's for, who it's not for, and what the thing actually does. So you're just being completely honest about what your offer is. Like, where is your ideal client right now? Where is it that you can take them? What process do you use to get them there? Just really be integral about who your offer is for, and then it doesn't feel icky, because you know you're actually helping, you're genuinely helping people that you can help and that no one else can, okay? And then principle 4 is the goal is resonance, not reach. You don't need to reach everyone. You don't need a massive audience. You don't need to be trying to sell to random people off the street and trying to convince them to work with you. You are trying to connect with a very specific ideal client, okay? A very specific person who you can help more than anyone else, okay? So it's all about resonance. Like, what can you do to make your offers resonant with your ideal client? And again, just connect with your ideal client. So don't ask yourself, how do I sell this? Because that just leads to ickiness, right? Ask, how do I describe this so the right person recognizes themselves in it? How do you make the right person feel seen, heard, understood? That's what we all want in life, right? We want someone to hear us and see us and really understand us on an emotional level. So you don't need to become a different person to sell your offers. You just need to model that actually lets you be who you are while you do it, okay? And I really hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I will see you next time.